right, so now that I've inserted my Google Slides, I'm now ready to do some sort of link to some sort of class activity that my students are going to do during their Zoom session. So I have that already in my syllabus right here. It's do this class assignment right here. Now, there it is. There's my class task for week 1. That same task that is actually right here in my week 1 folder right here, because for each of my weeks, I've got some sort of class task that is going to take place. So I need to link to that class task. So in this case, that class task is in a Google Doc that my students are going to be required to make a copy of so that they can then do the assignment together and then turn it in. I'm going to get that link. I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to click done. And then I'm going to go over here to my eLearn course. Couple of ways I can do that. So I can turn on the editing, and just like the Google Slides, I can add a direct link to the Google Doc by clicking the URL button down here. And now I'm going to call this week 1 class task. All right, and then I'll paste the external URL. And then all of these things I can leave as the default. I don't need to change any of them. And then I'm going to click Save and Return to Course. And there is my class task. So when I click on it, sure enough, it opens up to the class task. So that's one way that we can do a class task. Now the students are going to make their own copy of the Google task and do something with it. Okay, so now another way we can do that is, instead of a direct link to that Google task, that assignment, because what I want my students to do is I want them to be able to turn something in. Right now, this is a direct link that goes to the assignment, but they have no way to turn it in. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go right here and delete. Yes, I want to delete. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that same URL. So I need to get the link in my Google Drive. I'm going to go to eLearn. Now this time I'm going to add an activity, but this time I'm going to add an assignment. So I'm going to click that assignment and I'm going to name it week 1 class task. I do not need to write a description. Oh, no. Here I do need to write a description. This is where it's important. So here is the where I'm going to type the directions for this task. So it might be step 1, open this file and make your own copy of it. All right, and there's that link, and I might as well highlight it, click the link button, paste in that URL, and click open in a new window. Now when I create the link, now it's orange, meaning it's a live link, and it'll open it up in a new window. And then I might say step 2, discuss with your teammates. I don't know, step 3, each student will complete their own Google Doc with answers. There you go. All right. There's my step 1, step 2, step 3. I've given my directions. And then down here, all my choices that I can have. And in fact, I'm going to just expand all of them so that we can go through each one. Availability. The way I run my class is I'm very lenient about turning in things late and all that sort of stuff. So I make this assignment available at all times. I can turn on and limit when this assignment becomes available for my students. I can turn on due dates. I can cut off dates, what date are students now prohibited from turning things in. I'll tell you, I'm working with adults as students who may have family and or professional obligations that are going to prevent them from turning things in on time, and I'm totally okay with that. Just my little plug there. Then here is what am I expecting my students to submit? There's a couple of choices that you can do. You can either have them submit something online, which is they're going to copy and paste their URL into eLearn, their share link, or you can have them upload a PDF, or you can do both. You can provide both options. I'm going to suggest to you, folks, that you probably want one or the other, not both. It just gets a little confusing. Create a system and stick with it week after week after week. This is how you make your course usable. For right now, let's start with just doing an online text. All right. And so what our students are going to do is they're going to get their copy of their assignment, they're going to do their assignment, and then they're going to press that share button, and they're going to make it viewable for you, and they're going to paste the link into this assignment right here. Then down here, what kinds of feedback, what methods of feedback are you going to provide? I'm going to turn off annotate PDF because you're not allowing the students to submit a PDF. So you're only providing feedback comments, comment in line, you don't need that. And then submission settings right here. For most of this, you don't need to change any of these. The default positions are perfectly fine. Requiring students to click a submit button just kind of is this extra thing that says, it lets students kind of know that they're submitting something. Well, of course they know they're submitting something, so I just leave it off because they already know. I do let them turn things in multiple times in case the first time wasn't quite good enough. Group settings, we're not doing groups right now, so I'm going to leave that as no. Notifications. So now this is tricky. So every time one of my students submits an assignment, I have the option of being notified, in which case I would put a yes. The problem with this is if I have 30 students all submitting their assignments, I'm going to get 30 emails. For some people, they like that kind of feedback as facilitators of a course. Generally, I leave it off because I already know the students are going to be turning in assignments, so I can turn it on no. But I can turn it on to yes if I do want to be notified for some reason. This notifying graders about late submissions. So when we go back up to the top, remember, we have the ability to indicate a due date, which would mean down here, any student who turns it in late, I will receive an email. So that's kind of a neat little feature. If you choose, I'm going to leave it as off, and I'm going to turn off the due date because, quite frankly, I'm super loose with my due dates. Default setting for notify students. I leave this as yes. What this means is when I grade the assignment, students will automatically be notified that I have graded their assignment. I like that. I turn it on yes. Here's where I establish the number of points for my grading system. You're always going to leave simple direct grading for points, although there is a really neat rubric feature that if you ask, I'll make a video for the rubric feature. It's kind of cool. I'm going to leave it as uncategorized because I'm doing a straight point system from an earlier video system. You have the option of indicating what kind of score it constitutes a passing score. I leave it blank because ultimately I'm interested in the whole course, not just any given assignment. And then all of your classic common module settings, I'm going to leave it showing. I'm not going to restrict access. And then I'm going to click Save and Return. So now what does this look like? First off, I've got a new icon. That's the assignment icon. When my students click on it, they are going to get the directions that I have typed in. They've got a link right here that tells them that's the assignment. Notice I'm not typing a lot of the assignment down here. The assignment itself is in the Google Doc. That's going to make your life very easy. And then really in eLearn itself, I'm just giving them kind of the directions for how to complete the assignment. Click this link, make your copy, do it, turn it in. So really, maybe what I need to do is do a step 4, turn it in, all right? So I'll show you how to add that. And then down here, as my students start submitting their assignments, it's going to show up down here. Now I notice I want a step 4. I also noticed, look at that, step 3 is not capitalized. So I want to edit it. So I'm going to go over here, 2 places that I could have accessed the edit button. I could click the sprockets and do edit settings here, or here's my course, week 1 assignment, and I can scroll way over here and edit settings there. Both of them go to the same place. I'm going to fix that capital S, and then down here I'm going to put step 4, submit your a link to your Google Doc below. How about in the space below? In the space below. And then when I scroll all the way down, I can do either save and return to course or save and display. This time I'm going to just click save and display. And there is the assignment. Students will have, in fact, I can show you right here, switch role to student. What are the students going to see? They're going to see a link down here that says submit assignment. Right now I don't have that because I'm not a real student. I'm just kind of faking it. So what we can do is, though, we can open up a fake student account. So here I have a fake student account. And when I click on dashboards, my course is going to be right here as a student. Remember, I'm logged in as a student. There's my farm animals course right there. And if I click on it as a student, I can see there's my week 1, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. As a student, I click on that week 1, and there's my link, there's my directions. I now know what I'm supposed to do. And then right here is where I'm going to add my submission as a student. So I'll make a copy of my assignment, I'll do it, I'll grab that link to the assignment and add submission. And right here is where I will paste the URL. So whatever the URL for my Google Doc is, I would paste it in, and I would click save. And then as the teacher, in fact, let's do it right now. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to make a copy. Well, it won't let me make a copy because I'm not technically logged in as a student in my Google account. But I'm just grab this URL up at the top. So I'm pretending to be a student. I'm going to grab that URL up at the top. And then I'm going to go back into my week 1 assignment. And right here is where I'm going to paste in that URL. If I want to highlight it and add the link, I can, but I don't need to as the student. And I'm just going to click Save Changes. And now I, as the student, can see that I have submitted the assignment and it is now waiting to be graded. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and then I'm going to go back into my course as a teacher. And I can now see right here is my week 1 assignment. I can now see that, oh, look at that. I have one assignment that needs grading right here, and I can view all the submissions, and I can see that this student has submitted a link. And what I like to do is I like to click on this grade button right here, and it's going to give me all of my students right here. I'm going to click on that link so that I can read my students' work. And now that I've read my students' work, I can go down here and give my student a 5 out of 5. I could provide feedback if I want. And then you'll notice this notify students down here at the bottom. So when I hit save changes or save and show my next student, either one, this fake student A will receive an email notification that their assignment has been graded. So I'm going to click save changes, and now I already know that it's been graded. If I want to, I can click view, and now I can see that no assignments need grading because I've already graded it. If I want, I can click view all submissions, and I can see grading action. I can just view the grade book, and I can see that, oh, look at that. My student has got their 5 points that they deserve. And that's how I get my students to read some sort of assignment, and then for accountability purposes, I use the assignment tool to create that accountability.